Hello and welcome, dear viewers of Zarin International Television. I am Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to bring you the latest news for this hour. Hibatullah Akhundzada, the leader of the Taliban, emphasized a serious fight against what he called the propaganda of infidels during a meeting at Kandahar University. The Ministry of Higher Education of this group claimed that Hibatullah made these remarks in a scientific meeting attended by university officials. However, it is still unclear whether the Taliban leader showed his face to the attendees or not. The Taliban leader is facing harsh criticism due to human rights violations and the deprivation of girls and women from education. A number of former U.S. officials and military personnel expressed concern about the growing terrorism in Afghanistan during a meeting at the Hudson Institute in Washington. In this meeting, which was held to assess the situation in Afghanistan, Ali Lima Nazari, the head of foreign relations for the National Resistance Front of Afghanistan, was also present. Lisa Curtis and General Jack Keane, former U.S. government officials, were also in attendance. The participants criticized the signing of the Doha Agreement between the United States and the Taliban. At the same time, General Jack Keane, a former commander of the U.S. Army, warned about the unprecedented and very serious threat of terrorism emanating from Afghanistan. This American general called for cooperation with the anti-Taliban resistance front. On the other hand,
and that is where we were willing to fully commit intelligence and resources. We were ready to deploy intelligence forces and direct operations forces to prevent terrorist groups from establishing a safe haven. A haven that could evolve into something much larger in terms of their ability to carry out a comprehensive attack. A limited commitment of forces to do work in a manner akin to what I described. Multiple presidents held the same view until President Biden decided to change it, and that is the issue we are facing today. Because in Afghanistan, Al-Qaeda is supported by the Taliban. Their leadership is in Kabul. Their bases are known throughout the country. The Taliban know where they are and support them. The Khorasan branch of ISIS is also operating covertly in that country. This situation is different, but that organization is growing in terms of power and number of forces. This execution must be removed.
Lisa Curtis, a former official of the U.S. National Security Council, criticized the U.S. engagement process with the Taliban, stating that the Doha Agreement was not a peace agreement but, according to her, an agreement for withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Let me say a few words about the current situation in Afghanistan and some suggestions for future U.S. policy. First, even if we know that the Taliban won't disappear anytime soon, we should not stop trying to influence the future of the country. We must strive to pursue a political process that includes Afghans both inside and outside the country. The Taliban did not come to power through elections. They seized the country by military force. At the very least, I think the Trump administration and congressional officials should meet with non-Taliban leaders. These are the people who represent parts of Afghan society and should be given time and a voice for the future of the country.
Meanwhile, Ali Lima Nazari, the head of foreign relations for the Afghan Resistance Front, called on the United States to support the site democratic anti-Taliban forces. Nazari emphasized in this meeting that the Taliban, as hosts of terrorist groups, cannot be a reliable partner for the U.S. in the fight against terrorism. The Afghan
Our assessment in the National Resistance Front is that the presence of a terrorist group in power is not sustainable. They are falling apart. Afghanistan is moving towards a power vacuum. This vacuum can be both an opportunity and a challenge. It will be a challenge if the international community, especially the United States, and the democratic forces of Afghanistan, particularly the National Resistance Front, remain indifferent. If we cannot prepare ourselves for this vacuum, other terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda will exploit it and create a greater threat to the global community. However, if more appropriate policies are implemented, especially by the new U.S. administration, this disaster can be averted. This is beneficial both for the people of Afghanistan and for the people of the United States and the global community.
trade exhibition was inaugurated today, Saturday, with the presence of senior Taliban officials and a high-level delegation from Kazakhstan in Kabul. The Taliban's Ministry of Commerce stated that Kazakh products are being showcased at this exhibition. According to officials from this ministry, about 400 traders and investors were invited to this exhibition. This exhibition was launched simultaneously with the visit of the Deputy Prime Minister of Kazakhstan to Kabul. Nuruddin Azizi, the Taliban's Minister of Commerce, stated at the opening ceremony of the Afghan-Kazakh exhibition that trade between the two countries has decreased. According to him, a major part of this trade consists of imports from Kazakhstan.
We are trying to ensure that Afghanistan's products, as our imports from Kazakhstan, are thankfully sufficient, and we want to increase them further. We want to raise our trade balance to a certain level. We aim to bring our trade closer together so that eventually we can also have exports. Afghanistan's products should also find a place in Kazakhstan's markets. Especially, Afghanistan's cotton is of high quality. It is abundant and is one of Afghanistan's major export items, which the Republic of Kazakhstan also needs and requires, as it has factories that produce textiles and other products.
The United Nations warned about the consequences of the environmental crisis in Afghanistan on Earth Day. The mandate of this organization's representation in Afghanistan stated that the country is currently grappling with the consequences of climate change, environmental pollution, and biodiversity destruction. The United Nations has chosen this year's Earth Day slogan as Our Power, Our Planet. The Russian ambassador in Kabul invited the Minister of Energy and the Taliban to participate in the Kazan Economic Forum, which is scheduled to be held next month. After the suspension of the Taliban from the list of terrorist groups, Russia has sought to strengthen economic relations with the Taliban government. The Taliban's Minister of Energy has invited Russian companies to invest in the energy and water sector, specifically in the project to transfer water from Panjshir to Kabul. The Taliban's security forces have arrested Timur Shah Janalzai, a critic of theirs on social media, on charges of propaganda against the group. Janalzai, a resident of Vandar district in Ghazni province, is claimed by the Taliban to have been identified by the cyber and technical division of their forces. In a video released of Janalzai, he is seen asking the Taliban for forgiveness. However, it is unclear under what conditions this confession was obtained. With the intensification of the deportation process of Afghan migrants from Iran and Pakistan, concerns about the situation of returnees have increased. The deported migrants say they are struggling with many problems. They say they are empty-handed and have nothing to build a new life with. Recently, the Taliban has launched a campaign to help migrants and returnees. This group has asked people to assist in providing shelter for the youth. Donald Trump, the President of the United States, says regarding the negotiations about the Islamic Republic's nuclear program that Washington has had very good talks with Tehran. Donald Trump spoke to reporters on the sidelines of the Easter ceremony at the White House about the negotiations with Tehran, while technical talks between Tehran and Washington are set to take place on Wednesday in Muscat, the capital of Oman.
We had very good meetings regarding Iran as well. We will see how it progresses. The next step is that we need some time, but we had very good meetings regarding Iran.
Meanwhile, Masoud Pezeshkian, the Iranian president, says Iran is open to an agreement with the United States within a specified framework and stated that Iran is not seeking conflict with anyone, but it will not accept coercion. If the United States does not want equal negotiation, Tehran will continue on its own path. He stated that Iran is neither optimistic nor pessimistic about negotiations with the United States.
It is a dialogue if they accept, so to speak. Within the frameworks and red lines set by the Supreme Leader, we are ready for any cooperation. If they do not accept naturally, we will not succumb to humiliation and defeat. We have not relied on them.
Thank you, dear viewers, for your continued support. You can watch Zarin TV on Afghan Proucast, Jlwiz, the Zarin TV app, and our social media platforms. Until next time, may you be held in peace and mercy of the divine. Take care, and may blessing always follow your path.